And now with the war in Ukraine and Xi Jinping just coming back from Moscow, where he shared time, obviously, with Vladimir Putin, it all makes very difficult and awkward positions for particular U.S. executives who are going to China and then meeting with Chinese officials. And some top U.S. Executives, perhaps, according to sources, opting out of the usually high-profile China Development Forum at the Diaoyutai State Guest House in Beijing. This time, even though this is the first time in 3 years that it is fully in-person meeting, I think a lot of people keeping a low profile. Tim Cook, though, he not taking a low-profile approach. We also had Steve Schwartzman, as well as Ray Dalio, Albert Bourla of Pfizer. They are all on the preliminary list of participants. But you know, Tim Cook, essentially, as you said, stressing the sort of symbiotic relationship that Apple has had with China over the last several decades. And let's face it, it has been sort of symbiotic relationship. Almost all of Apple's products are made in China, as well as, you know, they kind of rose together over the last few decades. But those strains of relations are already starting to show. We've seen, you know, Foxconn, which makes a lot of the products in iPhone City in Zhengzhou, they're starting to move some of that production out of China. They've announced a $700 million plant in India. Other iPhone or Apple product makers in China saying they're looking at diversifying their supply chain and their capacity outside of China. So when that giant oil tanker starts changing course, it's hard to move it back in that direction. So 3 years was a long time, but the strain on the U.S.-China relationship has been going for longer than those just 3 years. We did get Vice Premier Ding Xuexiang speaking at the China Development Forum over this weekend. In remarks yesterday, he said that opening up is a national policy. It is a mark of modern China. He also read a statement from President Xi Jinping essentially saying the same thing. But again, the Vice Premier spoke at the China Development Forum, not the Premier and not the President.